Hi, greetings. Pastor Tolliver here, welcoming you to another opportunity to just receive a COVID-19 update. It's been a while since we've chatted and since we've talked, and you've heard from me as a collective body as to where we are as a church in the midst of the changing environment now as we're in the midst of this pandemic. Many of us know already that the government on the national and the state level have already decided that there is going to be a re-engagement, a reopening of the economy, reopening of the society, allowing more freedom and flexibility for individuals to move around, even while there is still the activity of this virus that is affecting so many. Well, I thought this would be a good time to let you know that in the midst of all of the slacking of the rules and the lifting of some of the regulations and restrictions, that where we stand as a church. And so this is our attempt just to fill you in and to inform you as members of First Baptist Church South Hill. Many of you know that early on we started here at the church to begin now to just kind of slow down our activities and ultimately to suspend most of our activities here at the church to ensure the safety and well-being of all of our members. As has always been conveyed, and I will continue to convey, that our highest priority is the safety and well-being of all the members of First Baptist Church South Hill. Initially, when we suspended many of the activities, that was the main concern, that was our main priority, is to ensure the safety, the well-being, and to minimize risk of the spreading in virus that was in our community. Well, here at First Baptist South Hill, as we continue, and we're about 8 weeks into this pandemic right now, if not longer, that we're going to remain just as we are. We're going to remain with suspended activities, no group gatherings, no assembly whatsoever in the church, because I believe that even while the outside of the church, the environment and the society is opening up and re-engaging, that we've got to be very wise how we proceed. And we want to make sure that continuing to move that we continue to move with prudence and with wisdom, and with that in mind, that we're protecting the safety and well-being of all the members of our church. And so I want to assure you, First Baptist South Hill, that as we continue to proceed as we are, and we will continue that way for the foreseeable future, that what we're keeping in mind is your safety and your well-being. Well, the question may be, what is the foreseeable future? We're projecting 4 to 6 to 8 weeks out. We're at the end of May now. We're approaching the end of May, and I see us remaining in the present mode well into July, definitely through the month of June. We will be assessing and monitoring the environment, listening to the data, and of course, just assessing the credible information that is out there from the science and from all the data that is there to determine just where we are in terms of our susceptibility and our vulnerability to this virus. As it is right now, there is no vaccine, there is no therapeutic that has been proven. And so we're all still very susceptible to the spread and to the illness that is running rampant in our community, as well as in our nation. So, members of First Baptist South Hill, I want to assure you that through the month of June, well into the month of July, that we're going to remain in the present mode that we're in. No assembly in the church, and that there will not be group assemblies. There will be no activities, and we're going to limit what we do until we feel that we are safe and that we are secure in how this pandemic is progressing. Now, having said that, there are considerations being given as to how we are going to proceed once we lift the ban here at the church. How are we going to re-engage the activities and the meetings and the fellowship at First Baptist Church South Hill? I will tell you that it will be incrementally, that we will have a plan, that it will be written, there will be guidelines and procedures as to how we're going to re-engage. We will not re-engage fully when that happens, when that time happens, but there will be a careful reconsideration and consideration of every aspect of us coming back together to ensure that safety and that well-being. So please do keep that in mind. We will pledge to give you at least a 2-3 week notice before we re-engage. But for now, be assured that we're going to remain as we are through the month of June and well into July, and we'll be giving an update in about another month or so as to where we are now. I want to say to each and every one of our members that I know that many are getting restless, that we miss the fellowship, and certainly I do. I miss the fellowship. I miss the faces. I miss every aspect of being in church together. But while I miss it, I'm also concerned about our safety and our well-being and our good health. And we'll just have to sacrifice the fellowship and the group gatherings and the assembly until we can be assured that when we do come together, that we are safe, and that we are giving respectful regard for each other's well-being as we do that. Now, let me also say that I want to just thank God for each and every one of you as members of First Baptist Southfield for your faithfulness in all of this. You have been faithful. How so, Pastor? First of all, you've been faithful in your connection. We're not able to assemble together. We're not able to gather together, but you have connected with this ministry. You have been faithful in watching the live streams, the devotionals, the inspirations from the hills. You've been faithful in attending meetings and using the technology to show that you are part of a First Baptist Southfield family and that we are doing life together. I want to thank God for each and every one of you. You have been faithful. You have been faithful. Our live streaming on Sunday mornings, our worship and our fellowship is going extremely well. We're reaching out, not just in the Chesapeake area, but we're reaching out across the nation. I've got relatives in California who watch our live stream every Sunday morning, and I thank God for that. And I know not just me, but you do as well. And many of them are watching because you've put the word out that your church is having fellowship, and we're having fellowship across the live stream, across the internet. Thank you for your faithfulness in that regard. It's our effort here at First Baptist Southfield that, through the medium and through the technology, to make sure that we're ministering to, that we're nurturing each and every one of our members. And we believe that we're doing it effectively, and we thank God for it. But we're doing it effectively because of your receptiveness, because of your faithfulness, and we thank God for that. So you've been faithful in just connecting. And to those of you who are volunteers, we have moments here at the church, and there are times when we gather together to feed the hungry for the food pantry. And many of you have volunteered with Mercy Chefs in our areas, and you volunteered in many ways to make sure that the reach of First Baptist and means of missions and outreach that is going out there, that is out there. And I thank God for each and every one of you. This church is known for its reach into the community, and we're able to do that because of your faithfulness, because of who you are as a membership, and because of your love for God and your love for God's people. So we thank you for your faithfulness in your connecting, for your faithfulness in your volunteering, and for your faithfulness in your giving of tithes, gifts, and offerings. I can't say enough about that. We know that, we teach at First Baptist Southfield and we recognize that all good and perfect gifts, they come from the Lord. We have what we have because God has been good to us. And we pray every Sunday that God will bless what we give, and then bless that remains, that our needs will be met. And needs have been met here at this church, and needs have been met through the church. We're still able to feed the hungry. We're still able to reach out into the community to be of help to those who are destitute and distressed. We're able to do that because of your giving, of your tithes and your offerings. Even in the midst of a pandemic, the mission and the ministry of First Baptist Southfield, it goes on. It goes on because people need to be spiritually fed. They need to be physically fed. And we're able to do that because of your effectiveness. We teach here at First Baptist Southfield that we give out of our need, and we give in spite of our need. And that all that we have because God has been good to us, and that we give him back a portion of that he's given to us. We have been blessed here because of your giving. We know that many churches in the area, that they're located in rural areas, and they're very much susceptible to their existence, to the well-being of their members. And many churches have members who've lost jobs, who've gotten furloughed, and who are in themselves distressed. And ultimately, that affects their ability to give back into the ministry of the church and to give back to God. Here at First Baptist Southfield, we have been blessed. It does not mean that we will not feel some impacts later down the road, because we expect that we will. But thus far, our members have been blessed. blessed. Our members have not lost jobs. Our members have not been furloughed. And we thank God for that. And ultimately, you're continuing to give as God has given to you. So members of First Baptist South Hill, we thank God for each and every one of you. We thank God for your faithfulness. We thank God for you being a blessing to the kingdom of God. This church is doing well. We're able to do ministry. We're able to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to minister to those who are distressed and those who are destitute because of your giving of your tithes, your gifts, and your offerings. Continue to allow God to bless you. And as God bless you and he bless us, we're going to continue to give back to God. And whether things go our way or not, we're going to give to God. And we're going to give to and sow into the kingdom of God because, the old folks says you can't beat God's giving no matter how hard you try. This church has been blessed because this church is blessed to be a blessing. And I thank God for that. Members, take care of yourselves. Do continue to heed all the warnings and the precautions. And even though restrictions are being lifted, even though people are given more freedom and flexibility to move about, you be very guarded. You hold on to the good safety and well-being that God has given you. And don't allow those around you to convince you to let your guards down. We want to continue to be safe. We want to continue to be healthy. We want to continue to do that by being wise in all that we're doing. So I pray that God will keep your family safe, that God will continue to keep you in his care, and he will. And we look forward to just giving you another update in a couple of weeks or so. But as for it is right now, be safe. Be healthy, be wise. God bless you. I love each and every one of you. And I want to see you again when we all come back to fellowship together. And we look forward to our fellowship once more again in the future. God bless you. Be well.